may or may not know, the equity release is one of the most highly regulated products within the financial services market. How does the council go about achieving its supplementary high standards within that regime? Well, the council's actually been in place for a very long time. And it's been important for us, even in a self-regulation prior to the mortgage regulation in the early 2000s, to ensure that there was a very clear dimension of protections for the consumer. And I class this as the trinity of protections, and this involves ensuring that there is a clear advice process, financial advice process, that there is always independent legal advice, and that we have a clear set of product standards. This supplementing a regulatory regime has always held us in good stead. It ensures the primary focus is on high standards, consumer protection and sustainability for the market. All of our member firms sign up voluntarily to these standards and have actually worked closely with the council to ensure that any evolution of those standards reflect what is an ever-evolving marketplace. The review of the standards and the evolution in how we're going to relaunch a new set of standards has been primarily aimed at good housekeeping. As the market evolves, as the consumer evolves, the council and its standards must also evolve in order to ensure it remains fit for purpose and to maintain the necessary focus on the protections and the safeguards of the consumer in today's modern market. The current review has focused primarily on the evolutions both from advisor, distribution and product evolution perspective, focusing on some of the key development areas, some of which you'll potentially understand already, which be the likes of the drawdown product and how that's accessed by the consumer, as well as the impacts on our demographic of particular customers, whether that be physical, mental, financial vulnerabilities that need to be taken into consideration. So it's gone some way to really evaluate the current modern day market to ensure it remains fit for purpose. The overarching principles of the checklist for advisors under our council standards are there to help guide, prompt and signpost the advisor to engage with their consumer in an appropriate way. It helps to guide in the necessary conversations and involvement of potential family members or other beneficiaries. It's there to ensure that the appropriate conversations regarding exploring alternative means of assets or other funding that might be appropriate in the consideration when conducting a full fact find. It's probably worth highlighting that the checklist is not a substitute for an advisor to undertake a full fact find exercise and complete a comprehensive suitability report. But the feedback that we've had from member firms is that they found it useful in order to ensure that the same standards are maintained throughout all conversations with their clients. A competency framework in our vision is there to help firms benchmark high standards of service when dealing directly with their clients. We obviously see it as complementing the achievement that an individual would have in ascertaining and in getting their qualification, but it should help firms to focus on the knowledge and the skill set in order to deliver good practice, whether that be from a very detailed technical knowledge aspect through to the application of business knowledge in the practical sense within the market, all the way through to the interpersonal skills that it might be required in order to undertake a conversation of this ilk. It's important that in order to supplement the need for, if we're going to implement standards within an industry, I think it's important that we are also seen to support the industry to achieve those standards. So this competency framework will go some way to guiding those, potentially for whether or not they may well be a new entrant to financial services, or they may well be an individual who is expanding on their portfolio of advice services. Regardless of that, not every individual who enters the market would have potentially the luxury and access to a fully fledged in-house training and competence programme. This is to help a range of individuals with a range of knowledge and expertise in order to achieve a high standard of service at the end of the day. The website's actually gone through a number of iterations over the last few years, and this latest update was of twofold, really. First and foremost, it was to provide a safe and accessible environment for the consumer to explore the options around later life, financial planning and equity release specifically, and also to give them access to a range of professionals in the marketplace who are members of the council who've signed up to these additional requirements of rules and guidance and standards and principles within the marketplace, should they wish to proceed. There's never any active follow-up by the council to the consumer. It's an entirely safe environment for them to explore the options. Secondly, we are obviously a membership organisation. It's important that we service the needs of our members by virtue of access to appropriate information. Could be market data, it could be technical bulletins, it could be some blogs, it could be industry updates of events and such like. It's there designed to give them an appropriate platform in order to access that information and actually may be able to enter into dialogue with each other. So we would very welcome any of the students that participating in this qualification who may well have a wander through the website. Feedback is always welcome about how it works for that individual.